During accelerated change, life in the fast lane, whatever we're experiencing, there are always inner forces at work. Our emotions are an internal river that have great potential and influence. If we are in a state of stress, it actually heightens the intensity. And stressful emotions create reactions. Reactions such as overeating, causing restless sleep or lack of sleep, driving us to exhaustion, also causing us to alienate others in our relationships. All of these are emotions that are running us from the inside, creating reactions which are most often negative. Emotions, however, can also be a resource, even the negative ones. And I'm going to give you an example of getting energy from a negative emotion, particularly anger. My husband and I had hired a contractor to do a very large outside landscaping project. And as part of the project, a large pile of redwood was delivered and placed out in the street. Emphasis, out in the street and not to the side where it would be out of the way. This contractor was not showing up. He was not following through, and on the morning that I called him and he said, "Oh, I'll be right there," he didn't show up, and the emotion running through me was fury. I was so angry, and I needed to channel that anger. So what I chose to do is put on a lift belt, go down, and begin to carefully move the redwood myself, piece by piece. The anger gave me strength. Fortunately, I had good sense to take care of my body at the same time. But what I want to say is that our emotions can often be resources for energy as well as create reactions. And so know the difference and use them accordingly. Now, not all emotions are negative. Many emotions can create very positive feelings. And I'd like to point out some of the ways to enhance emotions in general and then the positive emotions. You can enhance whatever's going on by accepting what's happening in the present. The second is appreciating it. Even if you're having a bad day, to be able to say, okay, I can appreciate today's a bad day. Fortunately, not every day is a bad day. That form of appreciation lightens the experience. If you're having a fabulous day, appreciating it and saying, whoa, I'd love lots of days like this, well, that's enhancing the positive in the nicest way possible. And a way of setting yourself up in any day is to say, okay, whatever goes on today, what I choose to experience is a sense of fulfillment. That intention to feel fulfilled will take whatever emotions are running through you at this time and turn them in a productive direction. Here's one other tool that I'd like to offer you. No matter what kind of thought or feeling you have, if it's one that you're trying to block, to box, to prevent, that stops the energy and it does create a blockage and a drain on your energy because you've stopped the energy from flowing. Another kind of approach is that you may be having a thought or a feeling and you have just it's taken you away. You're into story on how big, how bad, how whatever this is, and you have gone sailing into fantasy land. Now, the thought or the emotion is running you, and that's not a good thing either. The third approach, or the third way of looking at all this, is to see yourself as a channel. The thought or the emotion comes in you and through you, and you watch it. You watch it, you don't try to prevent it, nor do you follow it. But because you're very present with it, When you're inspired to do something or to stop something and to adjust, you are fully aware, fully present, and fully capable of handling the inner force that you are witnessing in the present moment. Stressful times lead to a tremendous undercurrent of emotions. And sometimes the emotions become so intense, so overwhelming that we really need to express them and get them out of the system. There are several ways of releasing emotional stress. One is to go to the gym or work out, and that's a very fine physical way to lighten up. Another way, if you don't have that freedom, but you can be in a space where you can play music as loud as you want, is to let the music vibrate through you and express the feelings that you have at any one time. Other people enjoy writing, just taking the issues, the emotions that they're experiencing and write them out, get them out of the system. And of course, there's always art therapy, which is a form of expression that naturally I favor. You don't have to be an artist, nor do you have to be equipped as an artist would be to do art therapy. In fact, I just finished a sample here. This yellow Rorschach block type of creation was done with mustard because it squeezes out and I could squish it around and I had a great time. It was quick, doesn't take long, and you can't save this because it's never going to dry. It's always going to be a problem. But I just wanted you to know that if you need to express yourself and you don't have any paint or ink around, you can use mustard, you can use ketchup, you can use chocolate sauce. That's a nice idea. Okay, we're going to set this aside. If you're approaching this activity as I am, I'm going to recommend that you have a pair of plastic gloves so that your hands don't get messed up, some kind of paint or ink, a nice sturdy piece of paper, and a safe environment around you so that you're not spoiling anything in the vicinity. What we're doing here is we want to take an intense emotion and express it one way or another. Now, I am going to use acrylic paint and I'm going to squeeze out a glob of it. And it's a fairly thick substance, so I'm going to go back to the days of finger painting and I'm going to feel the emotion that I want to release here, and I want to use both fingers, both hands. I want to spread it apart. That's what I feel like doing. Now, you can take as long as you want with this. Obviously, I am going a little bit quicker than you might. Now, plan ahead. I also want to use ink. Now, the ink I am not going to spread with my gloves, so I will drop them out of sight for now. I will bring on the ink. And what I'm going to do with this black India ink, I'm going to fill up the stopper and I'm going to just dribble some. And if you get a little impatient with that and say, hey, why not dribble more than some? Okay. Now, I might take a moment and check this out. Again, I am working with expressing emotion and dialoguing with it. This is how I feel. One of the other things that I might try to do here, because it just presents an adventure is turn the paper. I'm folding it in half. I'm squeezing it. I'm smoothing it out. Now what's going to happen is stuff is spreading. I open it up. Now more stuff is happening. Look at how the black has spread out and done some interesting things here. I'm playing. At this point, I am playing. I have an emotional undertone, a current that wants to come out. I see stuff going on here in the drawing. And since I don't have a tool handy, anything works. Anything that you want to use that may create lines. See, I'm using the tube, the end of my paint tube, and I am drawing lines on this. I might try drawing a broader line. I may see a face in what I'm doing and decide that I'm going to make eyes and maybe a mouth. And this is the process that I work with to begin to play with the emotions that I'm trying to release. Now, you might add more colors and you might carry on a bit farther with this, or you may say, okay, this is my emotional state talking to me, and what is it saying? Well, it's now time for art therapy, and you are your very own therapist. Be quiet, look and listen to the piece, and perhaps it's telling you that you may feel like a real devil right now, but not to take yourself seriously. You might see all kinds of fun and funny things in here to explore. It's an opportunity to take an emotion, play with the emotion, dialogue with it, and ultimately simply release it. How would I release this emotion? Well, when I'm completely done, I would take it and peel it up, and, well, it's not going to peel very easily. Lift it up, fold it up, and I would discard it. Or, even more fun, is in a safe situation, I'd burn it up. And that's a way to vent emotions that you're ready to release.